up? So here we will going to discuss activity 2-4, and that is about limits and graphs. So we are given here with this graph, with this sketch of the graph of f of x, and we are asked to evaluate the following. F of -1, limit as x approaches -1 from the left, from the right, and the two-sided limit, as well as other points here at number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5. Okay, so let's start with number 1. So we are asked to evaluate f of -1. Now, let's try to take a look at the graph. F of -1, so the location of f of -1 is supposed to be right here. However, at that exact location, at -1, it was indicated that it is a hollow dot. So that means that the graph doesn't have any value at -1. And we cannot find any other shaded dots that indicate that the function has any value on it. So therefore, for letter A in number 1, f of -1 does not exist. Okay. Next, we go to letter B, that is limit as x approaches -1 from the left of f of x. Okay. Now let's review the graph again. So -1 from the left, so you look at the left side of -1 and observe the curve. Where does it go as it comes closer to -1 from this side? So as you can see, as the values of x gets closer to -1, the values of y, or the value of the function y equals f of x, also comes close to the value of 3. Although at the exact point, it doesn't have any value. However, the line of the graph indicates that it is coming closer and closer to 3 as it approaches -1 from the left. So therefore, our answer here at letter B is equal to 3. Now, let's check letter C. So how about its approach from the right? So from the right, you have there a gap. So from approaching from the right, so in the graph, it indicates that the graph doesn't approach -1 at all at the right, because the graph stops at 0.15. It doesn't go to 0, and it doesn't go all the way to -1. So there can't be any observable value that it approaches from the right. So meaning there is no value. So same with letter A, we can say that the approach here from the right does not exist. Okay. Now for letter D, it's a two-sided limit. So the requirement for a two-sided limit to exist is that the values of its approaches at letter B from the C, that is the approach from the left and the approach from the right, must agree with a value. So it must have a definite value and they must agree with each other. So since in letter B we have an answer of 3, but in letter C we have an answer does not exist, so they do not agree with each other. So therefore on letter D, it does not exist also. Okay, now let's proceed to number 2. So that is f of 1. Okay, so let's observe again the graph. So as you can see here, exactly at point 1, the value of the function, or y, is equivalent to 5. So we can write here 5. Okay, how about its approach from the left? Letter B, limit as x approaches 1 from the left. So as you can see in number 1C, as you can see from the left, the graph doesn't approach 1 at this point because the graph stops at -1. It does not continue all the way to 1. So therefore, its approach from the left does not exist. How about its approach from the right? So as you can see, the curve of the graph or the function, as it approaches 1 from the right, it goes or it approaches the value of 5. So it comes from the top and then going down to approaching the value 5. So this means that our answer for letter C is 5. Again, for letter D, you must compare the answers for letter B and letter C, and that is the approach from the left and the approach from the right. Since they do not agree with a definite value, therefore letter D also does not exist. Okay, how about letter C? So this time we will take a look at 6 around here. So as you can see, this line is an asymptote. Okay, and based from the observed value, it doesn't appear that the graph actually crosses that line at x equals 6. So therefore, we do not have any value at x equals 6. So therefore, it does not exist. How about limit as x approaches 6 from the left? So you can see from the left, the graph goes all the way down. So the value here is infinite. We have here a value that is infinitely large at the negative side. So therefore, have here the answer negative infinity. So as you can observe, the graph goes all the way down as it approaches negative 6 with no signs of stopping at all. Now, how about from the right? So from the right, as you can see, the graph stops at 7 and it does not continue to 6. So therefore, just like with our previous numbers, if you encounter this one, that means that the limit does not exist. Again, since they do not agree with a fixed value, therefore letter D also does not exist. By the way, if they agree, in case both B and C agreed to a value, say for example 5, then our answer for the two-sided limit is also equivalent to the agreed value, which is also 5. In case they meet. Okay, so for number 4, so we'll take a look at 7. So here, at the exact point, we have supposed to be 3.1, but it is represented by a hollow dot, so that means it is actually excluded from the graph. So therefore, f of 7 does not exist. Okay, so negative 7 from the left, so it actually stops at somewhere near 6. Near 6, it doesn't continue to 7, so notice the huge gap here. So that means limit as x approaches 7 from the left also does not exist. How about from the right? So from the right, as observed, same with letter B, the graph goes down to 7 at the value near 3.1. So this one is also 3.1. Now, for letter D, again, does not exist. How about our last number? So we have here at 10. Okay, so there's a little bit of a typo here. In the activity, actually, I did not put any value, or I forgot to put the value here. So I just, the value here is supposed to be negative 2. Anyway, so let's just continue. So f of 10, so we have here two possible values for f of 10. We have here the one for 1 and for negative 2. However, 1 is a hollow dot, which means it is excluded from the graph. However, on another point, that is at negative 2, value negative 2, it is a shaded dot. So therefore, the actual value of f of 10 is equal to negative 2. Okay, how about limit as x approaches 10 from the left? So look at the left side of 10. Take a look at the curve. So as it approaches 10, notice that the value it approaches is equal to, it goes down to 1. So that means our answer here is supposed to be 1. Okay, how about as x approaches 10 from the right? So you look at the right of 10. This is where the graph, and look where it approaches. It approaches the value of negative 2. So that means here is negative 2. So we have two definite values, but they do not agree with each other. So therefore, our answer here is does not exist. Okay, so I hope you understand. So for any questions, kindly PM me directly. Thank you.